Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Rickles Paradise Podcast. I am your host, Dystro, and tonight is another Throwback Thursday episode. Tonight's episode is it's Elimination Chamber season. Usually it's around like February and all that stuff, but this year it's gonna be in March next month. And since it is John Cena's final run in the WWE before he retires and all that stuff, what better way to kind of go back into the glory days of John Cena here. We're gonna be looking at a Elimination Chamber pay per view, and tonight's Elimination Chamber show that I'm gonna be reviewing is from 2017, Elimination Chamber 2017. The main event has John Cena, Dean Ambrose, Baron Corbin, Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, and The Miz. This is a SmackDown exclusive pay per view. At the time, the Elimination Chamber pay per view was a SmackDown only show because in July of 2016, WWE decided to split the rosters into two separate entities because SmackDown went from being a tape show to be a live show on Tuesdays, known as SmackDown Live. Those last 6 months of 2016 were very good for the SmackDown brand, and that positive momentum carried into 2017 as well. This show followed the 2017 Royal Rumble, which had that Cena and Styles Classic title match that led into WrestleMania 33 in Orlando. And the poster for it and all that stuff, it's like got the Elimination Chamber outlay and all that stuff, and here's John Cena looking all menacing and all that stuff. Of course, the SmackDown Live announced team is Mauro Ranallo, please come back, John Bradshaw Layfield, David Otunga, and Tom No Talking During Matches Phillips were there to call off the show. And I had kind of like written down some notes a little bit. And like the kickoff match was Mojo Rawley versus Kurt Hawkins. This was basically like it was like a good showing for Mojo because like Mojo Rawley wasn't really doing anything. Hawkins had avoided some attacks from Rawley by hugging the ropes and came back with a punch to the head. Rawley came back with the clothesline followed by a chop block to the front and the left leg of Hawkins, and I wrote, oh boy, like my left leg hurts at that moment when I was watching this show. Hawkins with a kick to the sternum, and he tossed Rawley to the side of the ring apron. And then they went to commercial 2 minutes into it, which was the plug for the WWE Network. Hawkins was still in control with a headlock. When Rawley got going, Hawkins nailed him with a clothesline. Rawley came back with some punches, a clothesline, a splash in the corner. He put Hawkins on his shoulder, slammed him down. That got to a 2 count. Hawkins hugged the ring apron. The ref went over to that. Hawkins did an eye poke and hit a downward spiral for a 2 count, which I was okay. That kind of shocked me. Excuse me. Hawkins avoided a clothesline and hit a Guri kick for a 2, and then Rawley came back with a running forearm smash to the World Power Slam for the pinfall. Went only 8 minutes. Usually with Kurt Hawkins matches, it's usually like a minute or two because like he wasn't really that fun to watch a little bit. I gave it kind of like a star and a half a little bit. It was kind of just a basic match to give Rawley whenever a guy that it was barely on the show. But one of the little things that I kind of was said like at the time, like I think he could just got more TV time while Ryder was hurt. Hawkins is a talented guy, but he could probably thrive as a tag team wrestler if they had put him in that spot again. Put him with like Jack Swagger and see if there's any chemistry. Just do something with those guys. So you have the opening fight package and all that stuff. And first match of the night was Becky Lynch versus Mickie James. Kind of rare for a women's match to kind of open the show a little bit, but not really too shocking. This was like kind of like good back and forth and all that stuff. And plus like Becky wins this one, going to 12 minutes, which is kind of cool. And plus Becky Lynch and Mickie James is one of those people, or two of those people that kind of work with anybody and everybody, which is good to see because at that time you know, like the SmackDown Live women's roster was pretty good, and the Raw women's roster was really good too. Because you know you have Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair, you have Bayley on Raw, you have Becky Lynch on SmackDown, you have Alexa Bliss on SmackDown, and Naomi and all this. So you have some really good women's rosters at that time, but it was just weird that like at Mania 33 that year, you have Charlotte, Sasha, and Bayley versus and Nia Jax, and then you have like the majority of like the SmackDown Live like women's roster in like a six-pack challenge, and it was like, okay, everybody get your shit in, like, because like we gotta go home and all that stuff. Um, yeah, it was a pretty good match. It was a really fun match. Um, this next match though, okay. Dolph Ziggler versus Apollo Crews and Kalisto. So this one kind of was just like, okay, it was just like one of those things where it's like they could have just had Kalisto like out of that match. They could have just done Ziggler versus Apollo Crews really. Um and plus like they didn't really care. Like they didn't really care about Crews yet. I mean like Kalisto kind of got like when he got in there, he woke up a little bit, but then like it was just not a good decision to do a handicap match. They could have just easily just done Ziggler versus Apollo Crews. It would have been fine. But in the post match, Ziggler tripped up Kalisto on the apron. Ziggler brought a chair into the ring and hit Crews with a knee to the ribs. The fans chanted yes for Ziggler with the chair, which is kind of odd. Ziggler put the chair on the left foot of Crews, stomped on it. The fans were cheering, which is kind of odd. It's like a very Bizarro World thing. Ziggler stopped on the chair on the left foot of Crews again. Ziggler left. The rest checked on Crews, and the fans chanted "Thank you, Ziggler" as the scene came to a close. That's just kind of weird that he was cheered for acting like a heel. But I was like, okay. So up next was the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Turmoil match. Two teams start each other's elimination, and another team joins the fray, and you know, it's elimination turmoil, so there's only one team left. The first two teams that started out was Breezango versus Heath Slater and Rhino. The crowd popped huge for Rhino when he got tapped into the match. He gave Breeze a shoulder tackle into the corner. Rhino with a clothesline on Breeze, blind tagged by Fandango, who just recently made his WWE return, kind of recently, against Slater, with Fandango tripping up Slater. Double kick to the head of Slater by Breezango. Breeze dropped some fashion tickets on Slater while they were teasing a pinfall spot. Slater with a leg lariat on Fandango, sorry, but Breeze broke up the pivot attempt. Slater got the roll up, but Fandango pushed him off, and Slater tagged in Rhino. Fandango had no idea. He turned around. Rhino hit a gore on Fandango to pin him. That only took about 4 minutes. The Vaudevillains were next up to bat. Vaudevillains attacked Rhino in the aisleway and sent him into the barricade. Slater nailed a cross-body block off the top that took out both Vaudevillains. English worked on Slater in the ring. English worked on Slater in the ring as the heels isolated Slater in their corner. Gotch nailed some knee strikes and a spinning heel kick to the face. Rhino got into the ring, hit a gore on Gotch. Slater nailed a Impaler DDT on English and pinned him. That only took about 2 minutes. Usos are up next. Usos are up next, and they are taking their time getting to the ring. The Usos worked on Rhino for about a minute until Rhino broke free with a clothesline on Jay. Slater got the tag, but he missed a knee strike, and Jay hit a pop-up Samoan drop for only a 2 count as Rhino made the save. Ronaldo said Hell in a Cell says Elimination Chamber, so the other guys on commentary mocked him, which I thought was funny. There was a roll-up attempt. Jimmy made a blind tag and nailed a super kick on Slater to eliminate his team. That took about 3 minutes. And Heath Slater and Rhino were eliminated. And then the champs, Alpha Academy, American Alpha were up next. American Alpha, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. Whatever happened to those guys? Versus the Usos. Gable nailed a crossbody block off the top that took out Jay. The heels cheated a bit, leading to Jay nailing a uppercut. Jimmy tagged in with a jumping knee strike on Gable for a 2 count. A hard Irish whip into the corner by Jimmy on Gable. Jimmy with a leg drop on Gable, followed by a leg drop to the throat, followed by a headlock. Jimmy set Gable out of the ring. Gable came back in as they did a double clothesline spot to knock them both down. Hot tag to Jordan against Jay, with Jordan hitting a dropkick and an overhead suplex on both guys. Gable tagged in with a roll-up using his legs to keep shoulders down. Jay's shoulders down. It took about 5 minutes. Usos were eliminated. After the elimination, Jay nailed Gable with a super kick. The Usos sent Jordan into the ring post. The Usos pulled Gable out of the ring. Both Usos whipped Gable into the steel steps at ringside. The Usos put Jason Jordan into the ring, and Jimmy hit a Samoan splash off the top rope on Jordan, and the Usos left. That was a really good post-match attack too. It sets up, a feud between American Alpha and the Usos after that show. And then the Ascension made their entrance after bumping into the Usos, with American Alpha out in the ring and on the floor. Connor and Victor hit their follow man double team move on Jordan. Connor covered, but Gable made the save for his partner. Double team attacked by the Ascension, with Victor hitting a knee strike, leading to a 2 count. Victor missed a corner attack, and Jordan nailed a belly-to-belly suplex. Gable got the hot tag, but Connor tripped him up outside the ring. Gable went into the ring. Jordan picked up Victor, and they connected on Grand Amplitude for the pinfall, and that went about 4 minutes. The entire match itself was 21 minutes and 10 seconds. That's just... It's like, okay, if they could have just done Usos versus American Alpha, that would have been fine, because it's two teams that's got something to prove. And Usos had just turned heel, and it gives them more legitimacy, like being like, okay, like, look, like, we're the heel tag team, American Alpha's the babyface tag team and all that stuff. And plus, it would have been fine for American Alpha and Usos to get like 21 minutes of like in-ring time, because it's like you could have told a really, really good story with that. Like, Usos are cheating to win, and they will do anything and everything to win, and American Alpha's like, they're tried and true and they're the underdogs, they're the babyface tag champs and all that stuff. It's like they have to have like legitimacy. And plus, I would have ended the turmoil with American Alpha versus Usos. That would have been better for that. It would have been better, because you have American Alpha versus Ascension, and it's just so crazy. I'm so sorry for yawning, but it's just like, I am like just trying to stop yawning at this point, but it's like yawns are just coming out. I'm sorry. But it would have been a way better match, like American Alpha versus Usos. They could have run it back too, like on the next SmackDown. They could have run it back. But it's alright. And plus, they didn't give really a lot of time between some of the matches with like Heath Slater, with Slater and Rhino versus Breezango and the Usos and the Vaudevillains and all that stuff, and it's just like, what are you doing? So next match is Nikki Bella versus Natalya. I mean, for what it's worth, they could have just done. Excuse me. They could have just done like a little like a promo, being like, okay, like look, like Nikki Bella is kind of like the diva and all that stuff, and like Natalia's just kind of like just sick of Natalia's bullshit, or Natalia is sick of Nikki's bullshit. I'm sorry. Um, and then it just ends in a double count out, like, and it's like I'm sorry, but it's like they kind of like they it's like they just didn't give them the chance to like kind of just go more with it. Like they could have done like a no DQs for a stipulation or something. It's not like both women are gonna have like the best match on the card, but it was kind of physical. I liked it, and I think I remember around that time like where Natalia threw a mirror and just shattered it in a million pieces. Like that was just crazy. So the next match, quite frankly, one of the two best matches on the card was Randy Orton versus Luke Harper. They went outside to the ring early with Harper having the advantage, but back inside, Harper nailed an impressive drop kick. I mean, like Harper is like a big dude, but he can he could drop kick you, like he can do a hurricanrana, like he could just do whatever he wants to do. This was very, very like good, like back and forth and all that stuff too. Um, and plus it's like it's Harper and Orton, and plus this is like Harper is he's the one person that didn't leave the Wyatt family, and then like when Rowan had, I guess like he got exiled or something, um, Orton came in, did that whole story thing with like Orton and Wyatt winning the tag titles and all that stuff, and then like having like falling outs and all that stuff. And then like like Harper's just like like Orton doesn't belong to this family and all that stuff, and Orton's like, yeah, I do. It's like I want tag champ. I was a tag champ with Bray Wyatt. So what have you ever done? And it's like one of those things where it's just such a good story. Um, and plus it was like a 4-star match to me. It was really, really good. And and JBL reportedly said that Orton was the best ever, and he's going to WrestleMania. It was actually a pretty good match. I actually really, really liked it. And plus, like, it wasn't really a surprise that Orton, since he was the Rumble winner, he wasn't really gonna lose. But if Harper did get the win, it would have been really huge for him. And plus, they could have done Harper, Wyatt, and Orton at Mania that year. They could have done it, but they didn't. They didn't want to go that route because they just were like, "Oh, well, Harper's not world champion material and all that shit." And that's bullshit. Um, so it's just like there's like a lot of misbooking opportunities with this. Um, then there's like the whole like rumors and all that stuff, like being like Cena and Nikki versus Miz and Maurice at WrestleMania that year, which does end up happening, which is like one of those things where it's like, okay, kind of went on for a little bit too long. They could have just done Nikki and Maurice, and it would have been fine, because Cena doesn't really need to do anything, and Miz wasn't really doing anything and all that stuff, so it's like they could just kick them out a little bit. But kind of a cool down, come down match. It sucks to say, man. But Alexa Bliss, who's the SmackDown Women's Champ, um, going up against Naomi. It was a good back and forth and all that stuff, but it wasn't really like clicking. It was like this was like it's just Lynch and Mickey James was way better than this one. I'm sorry, but it's like you had more of a story with Lynch and Mickey than Bliss and Naomi. But it's cool to see Naomi got the women's title, and that was kind of cool moment. I don't think she holds it on for like very long either, which is like sad. It's very very sad. And then going into the main event, this was a really good main event. This is the Elimination Chamber for the WWE Championship. John Cena, AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, Baron Corbin, Miz, and Dean Ambrose. The match starts off with Cena and Styles, which is like a good thing. Because like they know like after this it's like AJ's facing Shane at WrestleMania, Cena's facing Miz and Marisa in WrestleMania and stuff, so it's like kind of cool to like get that like little moment in time. And then you have Ambrose coming in, with like this "Let's go Cena sucks" chants and all that stuff, and then here comes Bray Wyatt, the dark horse in the match, because Cena goes in as champ and he's got odds stacked against him. And then you have Baron Corbin, and then the last person is The Miz. Miz stayed in the pod. Ambrose snuck up behind Corbin and did the roll up of death to eliminate him. Really? Yes, really. Baron Corbin was eliminated by Dean Ambrose, which leads into their WrestleMania pre-show match, which freaking sucks because it's like Corbin and Ambrose could have had a better thing. Like they could have made the main show, but they had to put it on the damn pre-show. Fuck. And then Dean Ambrose was eliminated by The Miz, and that was what most likely done to set up Ambrose versus Corbin for the IC title. Which actually, that's exactly what happened to him at WrestleMania. Even though it was on the kickoff show, Ambrose retained the IC title against Corbin that night, which freaking sucks. It sucks. Miz was doing the Daniel Bryan mocking spot, which he kicks to the chest of Wyatt and Cena at the same time. Running drop kick by Miz on both guys. Miz, Bryan with kicks. I guess they probably met. I think it's supposed to be Wyatt, but it's like alright. I think they probably just said something on the commentary too. Miz hit a corner drop kick on Wyatt, Cena, and then also into Cena, and Miz dumped Wyatt out of the ring. Miz with a corner drop kick on Styles as well. Miz with a corner clothesline on Cena. Miz hit the skull crusher finale on Wyatt on the mat outside. Miz jumped off the top, went for a crossbody block on Cena, but Cena caught him and hit with an attitude adjustment on Miz to eliminate him. And plus, like, what a good final three too, like Cena, Styles, and Wyatt. And plus, like, I kind of figured, like, like Wyatt's like when he pinned Cena, that was such a cool moment because it's like there's a new WWE champion, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's like I thought it would have been another AJ Styles run. But I was sadly mistaken, and like I was actually glad that I was proven wrong. And plus, like that cool counter was so cool. Like Styles went for a phenomenal form. Wyatt avoided it. His sister Abigail for the win, and Bray Wyatt was the new WWE champion. And he didn't hold it for very long. He held it from that pay-per-view to WrestleMania 33. Which was like 2 months, maybe, if that, which kind of sucks, but it was actually a pretty cool, like, moment, because, like, Bray Wyatt was, like, one of those guys that, like, he was world champion material, but they didn't do it. They didn't pull the trigger on him, because, like, he is the eater of worlds and all that stuff, and it's like, he was a tag team guy and all that stuff, and they just didn't see that in him. They didn't see, like, world champion material. And it was such a cool moment to like just see like Wyatt like holding up the WWE championship with like thousands of people holding up their camera light phones and just having it as like fireflies and all that stuff. Um, it was an outstanding match too. And actually got to tell the whole story of Wyatt outlasting everybody to win his first WWE title. I personally love the Cena and Styles like outlasting everybody too, but they couldn't do it. And plus, it was actually kind of brilliant to have Wyatt pin Cena and Styles. They actually kind of put them over a little bit. Credibility immediately. They did a good job of utilizing Miz, Corbin, and Ambrose in the match, as well because it set up Corbin and Ambrose for a feud. Miz wasn't in there long, but at least he got a pinfall over on Ambrose. As for Wyatt, we were all genuinely happy for him after having so many stop and start pushes in his career. He deserves to be in the spot he's in. That win wasn't a surprise by any means. I'm just happy it finally happened. And Wyatt got handed the WWE title. He had a huge smile on his face, and the crowd was actually cheering mostly, even though he was a heel. And plus, it's like it was a 3-hour pay-per-view, which kind of like didn't really go by, but I think the two standout matches of that show was like Harper and Orton, and then the Chamber match, obviously. Also, the Chamber match itself had some padding and like different outlay and all that stuff too, so it's like you can like actually see the whole Chamber match without having to like look for the fucking like chain link fence and shit. But yeah, this is actually a really awesome show. Um, the 3 women's matches kind of told all interesting stories and all that stuff. And plus, like, the American Alpha kind of like the tag team turmoil match and all that stuff. And plus, the turmoil match itself like didn't really get much time for the matches to like give like sometimes like some depth and all that stuff. Like they could have just cut all the other teams out. They could have just done American Alpha versus Usos. They could have just easily done that. They could have just done that for 21 minutes. 21 minutes of like good tag team wrestling and all that stuff. Oh, that would have been so freaking awesome. And plus, you could have done a 6-woman tag at that pay-per-view too, or like a tag team match, and then you have Alexa versus Naomi, because like some of the matches, like the 3 women's matches in particular, didn't really like. It just didn't really do anything for me. Also the Ziggler versus Apollo Crews and Kalisto match, like that didn't really do anything for me either. You could have done Mickey and Lynch, Ziggler and Apollo Crews, which would have been fine. You could have done Nikki and Naomi versus Alexa and Natalia, and then you have Harper and Orton, and then you have and then you have the Chamber match. That would have been fine. It would, and then you have like the tag title match with American Alpha and Usos. 6 matches on the show would have been like 2.5-hour show, maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes or something like that. It would have been fine either way. But they didn't want to do that route because they wanted to be like, okay, well, this women's match, and this women's match all have to have stories, which is fine. But it doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it any better. Because at Mania that year, all 6 of those ladies are lumped up together in a 6-pack challenge, and they're like, okay, everybody's got to get their shit in. So let's just get everybody get their shit in, and it just sucks. It really sucks. But I'm actually kind of happy that I actually watched this show. I actually remember watching this show too. But yeah, but that is it for Elimination Chamber Throwback Thursday edition. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm just trying to like get myself together here. But please make sure if you like and subscribe. If you watch this to the very end, please make sure to follow us on all social medias and the link tree in the description below, which will take you to our Instagram pages, Twitter pages, Facebook pages, uh, Reddit page, my gaming YouTube channel page, and tonight's song of the night is Breaking Benjamin, and it is going to be Awaken, the newer song that just came out a few months ago. It is actually a really, really good song. It's got a good message behind it too. And yeah, it's tonight's song of the night. So, with that being said, thank you very, very, very much for listening and or watching, and I will see you next Thursday, or well, Sunday, for another Shoot the Shit episode, and then Thursday for another debate hour. But until the time being, stay safe, my friends. Love you. Peace out.